So let's look at what a function is. A function is a relationship or a relation between a set of inputs and a set of outputs. And so there's a lot of ways that we can kind of think about what inputs and outputs may be. But before I go into that, what also makes it a function rather than just a relation is that each input maps exactly to one output. So you can't have one plug in some x, plug in 1, and then come out with 2 and 3. You plug in a 1 and come out with one number. So we'll call the function f, and so you plug in 1 and out comes 2. I'll plug in 2 and out comes 4 when I plug that into the function. So let me say I'll plug in x, and if I plug in x, out will come 2x. So I'm basically just doubling whatever number that I put in there. So x is our input, y is our output, which is also called f of x. Sometimes you want to think of domain as your input and range as your output. And so let's also see this sort of graphically. My input, I'm just arbitrarily picking between -2 and 3. I double each one of those numbers, and I come out with -4 to 6. So I'll go ahead and graph these, -2, 4, -1, 2, 0, 0, etc. And I plot my x and my y axis, label it a little bit, and here I have y equals 2x. I've just graphed a linear function, actually, but this is a function which doubles x, whatever you put into it. So that x-axis is our domain. You plug in the x values. That's our independent variable. That's our domain. And the domain is all of the x's that make sense. All x's make sense. The whole real number line makes sense for this function, but sometimes it doesn't. Not every x makes sense for every function. So we'll get into that more later. The output is y, or f of x, and so let's also use function notation. So I'm saying, well, what is f of 3? So f of 3 is saying when x is equal to 3, what is y? Well, y is 6. So when x is 3, y is 6, and f of 3 is equal to 6. Here's another example. F of what is equal to -4? Well, this is algebra. F of x is equal to -4, and I would have to say something like, for what value of x is f of x -4? And so we say, okay, well, that means y is -4. What is x? If y is -4, x is -2. So that's it. And a quick overview of functions.